Sukhothai was one of the capital cities of Thailand during the 13th and 14th centuries in Sukhothai province in north-central Thailand. Sukhothai, meaning dawn of happiness, was the cradle of civilization, where Thai art and architecture developed into what is known as the Sukhothai style, influenced by Khmer, Bagan, and Sinhalese styles. Characteristics for the Sukhothai style are the lotus bud stupa or chedi and statues of a walking Buddha, the clothing draped around the body. Sukhothai province is most famous for its historical city of Sukhothai, founded by King Sintaratit. The province's temples and monuments have been well restored, and the historic town of Sukhothai and associated historic towns of Sisatchanalai and Gampangphet were declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1991. Sukhothai Historical Park was classified as a historical heritage that attracts a lot of cultural tourists every year. Heritage tourism is defined as visits by persons from outside the host community, motivated by interest in historical, artistic, scientific, lifestyle, or cultural offerings of a community, region, group, or institution. The park contains historical ruins of Sukhothai. Sukhothai Historical Park ruins are one of Thailand's most impressive World Heritage Sites. The city's walls form a rectangle about 2 kilometers or 1.2 miles from east to west by 1.6 kilometers or about a mile from north to south. There are 193 ruins on 70 square kilometers or 24/7 square miles of land. There is a gate in the center of each wall. The park comprises the ruins of royal palaces, 26 Buddhist temples, the city gates, walls, moats, reservoir, and the water dike control system of ancient Sukhothai, with an additional 70 sites within a 5-kilometer radius. The ruins are divided into 5 zones: the central, northern, and western zones. The architecture of Sukhothai temples is most typified by the classic lotus bud chedi, featuring a conical spire topping a square-sided structure on a 3-tiered base. Some sites exhibit other rich architectural forms introduced and modified during the period, such as bell-shaped Sinhalese and double-tiered Sivichai chedi. The park is managed and maintained by the Fine Arts Department, Ministry of Culture of Thailand. The protection of the area was first announced in the Royal Gazette on the 6th of June 1962. The enabling law is the Act on Ancient Monuments, Antiques, Objects of Art, and National Museums of Buddhist Era 2504 or 1961, as amended by Act No. 2 in Buddhist Era 2533 or in 1992. UNESCO has declared the park a World Heritage Site in 1991. The park welcomes thousands of local and international visitors every year. Some of the most impressive ruins are inside and outside the city walls. A small electric train runs around the parks, but a bicycle is essential to fully appreciate everything. Electric buggies can also be hired to get around the park. To operate heritage tourism successfully is not an easy task. A destination with few strategies for conservation and preservation, but maximum business goals of exploiting its heritage would gradually lose its core archaeological values and cultural identity. On the contrary, those that focus on maximum efforts towards conservation are more likely to fail in business management. These economic, social, cultural, and environmental challenges require all related stakeholders to emphasize sustainable heritage tourism. To develop sustainable heritage tourism, the host community has been identified as a major key player. Without active participation and involvement from local communities, it would be difficult for heritage tourism managers to establish institutional structures and to distribute costs and benefits among stakeholder groups in a fair and equitable manner. UNESCO also emphasizes new paradigm for protected cultural sites, highlighting more inclusive approach to heritage management and community engagement. Sustainable heritage tourism management. The Fine Arts Department has set up policies and master plan to develop Sukhothai Historical Park in 1976. Major park plans included archaeological excavation and conservation cultural heritages for economic and social benefits and development of the historical park landscape. After the park has been made a UNESCO World Heritage, Sukhothai Historical Park Authority has formulated more rules and regulations to follow UNESCO requirements. Although the local people in the community helped protect and conserve the archaeological heritages, their understanding of the effects of becoming a UNESCO World Heritage may be limited. Some issues affect local people's ways of life, which they partly understand and are aware of those requirements. The park is preparing for a new master plan for development between 2019 and 2022. However, the Fine Arts Department has no specific policy on community involvement due to limited rules and regulations. The park mainly focuses on conservation of physical aspects of cultural heritages and safety of the park areas. The level of community involvement depends on the decision of the director of the park. Archaeological sites in the park are major cultural attractions. These sites become tourism products that create positive impact on local economy. Sukhothai Historical Park Management has made positive impact upon local economy and contribution by generating extra income and additional jobs for local people in the community. Tourists spend their money on goods and services during their trip and stay in Sukhothai province. Local people have developed some homestays, resorts, guest houses, and restaurants to satisfy tourist needs. Tourists also buy some local souvenirs and handmade products such as Sangkhalok or Celadon ware and ancient Thai fabrics. The art of weaving is passed from generation to generation. Some fabrics known as Tin Chok and hand-woven fabrics are famous textile at present. Sangkhalok pottery is today reproduced by the people of Sukhothai into Celadon ware as souvenirs and home appliances. This involved artistic creation by craftsmen to stimulate the art that had made Sukhothai famous in the past. The park has provided some areas in the front of the park for restaurants and souvenir shops managed by local people. Local people have developed some homestays, guest houses, restaurants, and souvenir or old top shops for tourists. Local people have set up Mueang Kau community-based tourism club to promote truly Sukhothai heritage tourism. The MCBT Club has developed some unseen local heritage routes for tourists with young local tour guides. The private sector stated that the park has succeeded in development and conservation of the park up to an acceptable level. Nevertheless, the park has not yet utilized archaeological heritages in the park for more benefits of tourism development and promotion. Besides, the park encounters land ownership and land title problems with local people in the community who lived there before the government announced the area as Sukhothai Historical Park. According to the park conservation rules and regulations, any construction or modification of the existing houses inside Sukhothai Historical Park area is required to ask for park permission. Some residents are not very happy about the conditions, which make it harder for their family to live together in the same area. Regarding social impact, Sukhothai Historical Park Management has curated positive social and cultural impact upon cultural conservation and restoration of the World Heritages, particularly on tangible aspects, while Provincial Culture Office is responsible for intangible aspects of heritages. Sukhothai Historical Park, together with other related agencies, organize a major festive event every year for Loi Krathong Festival. According to Thai folklore, the Loi Krathong Festival was originated in Sukhothai. The word Loi means to float, and a krathong is a small raft or basket. The candle and incense sticks are lit in a krathong, and a wish is made before the krathong is placed on the nearest stretch of water. The purpose of Loi Krathong is to pay homage to the Lord Buddha and to the water goddess. It is believed that the krathong carries away bad luck. Events in Sukhothai are held over a number of days with a daytime parade and a nighttime illumination of the ruins, as well as the light and sound show. Fireworks and sky lanterns feature alongside the floating of kratons and the Noppaman's beauty contests. Sukhothai College of Dramatic Arts provide education and training music and dancing for performers for light and sound show. In addition, Sukhothai Provincial Authority and Tourism Authority of Thailand organize Meet a Light and Sound show at the park on occasional basis. The show aims to showcase the glorious history and culture of this ancient Thai capital as the source of national heritage, the Thai alphabet, the magical Loi Krathong celebration, firm foundation of Buddhism, fine Tinjo cloth, ancient Chinaware, and King Ramkhamhaeng the Great, who reigned over Sukhothai's golden age during the 13th century. There are other agencies that are responsible for tourism promotion, such as Tourism Authority of Thailand or TAT, Designated Areas for Sustainable Tourism Administration. They receive some budget from the government to develop and promote tourism. However, the park should plan for tourism development in order to expand the economic gain of the park to local people. New heritage tourism routes should be created. More interpretation signs and media should be developed, as well as QR code for tourist information. Arnstein's Ladder of Citizen Participation model in 1969 emphasizes citizen participation activities from the lowest to the highest as the rungs of the ladder, and partnership as the ultimate goal of most citizen participation processes. The participation levels fall into three general categories. These categories are non-participation, tokenism, and citizen participation. Firstly, non-participation means that there is either no citizen involvement or only little citizen involvement within a process. Secondly, tokenism is citizen participation that is often one-way communication, where the organizers provide information about the project and obtain feedback from citizens that is virtually not taken into account in the decision-making process. And thirdly, actual citizen participation is a two-way process where there is an exchange of information between organizers and participants, where both groups are involved in the decision-making process. From the lowest level of participation, Sukhothai Historical Park raises public awareness and educates local people about the preservation of cultural heritage in their community. The park further asks stakeholders and local people to discuss organizing local events such as Loi Krathong Festival, but not conserving and managing the heritage of the park. Moreover, Local people may share their ideas or ask permission about organizing cultural activities or events around the park. For a higher level of participation, the Fine Arts Department is revising the Act on Antiquities, Antiques, Artifacts, and National Museum in Buddhist Era 2505 in order to provide an opportunity for a local authority to participate at a higher level in heritage management. Nevertheless, local community has less authority to participate in Sukhothai Historical Park management. The final decision of heritage planning management is upon the director of the park and the Director General of the Fine Arts Department. In conclusion, Sukhothai Historical Park Authority has managed the park for conservation and preservation efficiently with some local participation. However, in order to manage and promote the park as a cultural tourism heritage more successfully and sustainably, all related stakeholders should work together and allow local community to participate in some management decisions. One possible way is to set up a joint committee consisting of public sector, private sector, local administration, and local community. Such committee should be responsible for heritage tourism management, promotion of intangible assets of the park, and curation of continued programs of tourist activities for all year round. As a result, more active participation and involvement from local communities will help manage the park as a World Historical Heritage sustainably for the years to come.